Hey everyone, welcome to the Kingdom Everywhere season questions. How do we know what time it is? How do we know what God is calling us to do now as opposed to last season or next season? Jesus says it is a good thing to know the times and the seasons that we are in. There's a kind of a mysterious story where he curses a fig tree for not being in bloom or in fruitfulness when it's time to be in fruitfulness. The tree's in the wrong season. And so, what season is it? What time is it? If you look at our diagram, this comes kind of where God and the world meet. And so, another way to say this is how is God at work in this particular hour in history, in this particular hour in your life, and how can you jump into it? Arthur Wallace said, find out what God is doing in your generation and give yourself wholly to it. Acts 13 says that David served the purposes of God in his generation. There's a particular thing that God is doing right now. And so the season questions involve how do we hear God now? As opposed to last season or next season. The particular biblical example of this that I love to think about is the beautiful story of Queen Esther. She has just a wonderful story, but there's that famous line where her father figure Mordecai says to her, "You were born for such a time as this," and that time is the season that she's in the whole storyline of the people of God is the nation of Israel is in threat. It's in the middle of exile, and God raises Queen Esther up in a particular moment in Israel's history to be a savior figure for the people of God in her generation. And she was born for such a time as this. I want to encourage you. You were born for such a time as this. You were born in a particular hour in history, in a particular moment of the storyline of God for a particular reason and purpose. And so the season questions are designed to get at that of listening to God. What are the particular things going on in the world? We asked some big world questions last week. This week we're going to get more specific and say, hey, are there particular trends, controversies, issues? I don't know what they might be. We live in the age of AI. We live in financial meltdowns and in the church, whatever sphere of influence God's calling you to, there's particular things going on. What are they? And how might God be at work in them? And what is your invitation to step in and bring heaven in that situation? And then there's some personal questions too about what season are you in as a person. I think I've shared before. I'm in a season where there are lids and limits in my life. There are limits. I have three kids. We all have the same limits. We all only have 7 days a week or 6 days a week to work, one day to rest. We all have time limits. We all have capacity limits. And then there are lids in our life where God is growing us and stretching us, and God might be inviting us to work harder in a particular area. And this all has to do with seasons. What time is it? What are lids that God's inviting us to break through? What are limits that are holy, beautiful boundaries that we have to honor and respect? And at the end of it, how do we discern time is it? What is the thing that we're meant to do next? And even I want to speak particularly for a moment about this whole idea of kingdom everywhere, and even this meta tool that we're using. Because the goal isn't that we hear our call from God and then we just go do it and it's done. Really, calling looks different in every season. There are different people God calls you to serve in different seasons. There are different job descriptions that you get invited to step into. There are different people and communities or gifts or skills that God's highlighting in different seasons. And so knowing what season it is so important because otherwise we might be trying to serve the wrong people at the wrong time or use the wrong gifts or skills. And so ultimately, hearing God happens in every season. And so these season questions are designed to narrow in what's the particular thing that God's calling you to do right now, and who is God calling you to serve next. So I bless you to answer these questions with wisdom, revelation, and grace. You were born for such a time as this.